Name, Zach Allen. Position, defensive end. School, Boston College. Conference, ACC. Class, senior. Jersey, no. 2 Recruitment rating, 3-star HT, 6 feet 4 inches WT, 280 D.O.B, August 20, 1997 Tackles, defend, fumbles, year, school, CONF, class, post, G, solo, astot, loss, SK, and yards, AVG, TD, PDF, yards, TDFF, 2015 Boston College ACCFR, DIT 21120.00.00000, asterisk, 2016 Boston College ACC, SOTA 10-19-17-36-10.06.0000420 asterisk 2017 Boston College ACC Junior to 1347-53 115.54.010.003 Boston College ACC Senior to 12-26-35-6-115.06.516.00721 Career Boston College 93,106,199 40.5 16.526 3.001441 Highlights Boston College defensive end Zach Allen is one of the most versatile and productive defensive players in the country. He is in the top 10 all-time at BC in sacks and tackles for loss. In 2018, Allen was named second-team All-ACC. At 6 feet 5 inches and 285 pounds, Allen is physical at the point of attack while also maintaining his athleticism and playing with great instincts. Pros: Zach Allen was a highly productive defensive lineman for the Boston College Eagles over the last 3 years. He played both defensive end and defensive tackle on the Eagles' defensive line, and has the versatility to play in an odd or even defensive front in the NFL. He probably projects better as an or 3 technique in a 4-3 defensive scheme, but can play the 5 technique in a 3-4 defense. Allen is one of the bigger and stronger 4-3 defensive ends in the entire 2019 draft class. Due to his size and strength, he is able to easily shed blockers and set a strong edge, which makes him a really strong run defender. Shows really good read and react ability and quickly diagnoses plays. Has good gap integrity, non-stop motor and doesn't take any plays off. Good first step quickness out of his stance as a pass rusher, showing good burst to get up the field in a hurry. Has good short area mobility and quickness. Shows good hand technique to go from one counter move to another when engaging and disengaging from blockers. Violent hands and power helps him put offensive linemen on their heels. Always has a plan with his pass rush, which suggests he has a strong football IQ. The biggest negative about Zach Allen is where he fits best in the NFL. He's a bit of a tweener. He doesn't really have the speed or flexibility to win consistently against offensive tackles as a defensive end, and he doesn't have the strength right now to hold up as an every-down defensive tackle. Might be nothing more than a rotational defensive lineman. Allen has prototypical size and strength to be a base 2 or 3 tech in a 4-3 defensive scheme, but lack of length and athleticism could limit his effectiveness to play either position at the NFL level. His lack of length is particularly concerning. Quicker offensive linemen are able to get into his body and he has trouble disengaging at times because of his lack of length. Needs to add more strength if he is asked to kick inside to play defensive tackle. Has a hard time anchoring down against the run and can be washed out of plays. Tight lower body with very little flexibility. Struggles to change directions, despite his short area quickness and mobility. Has gotten by mostly on effort instead of athleticism. Can be baited offsides by hard counts. Cowboys fit: Zach Allen would immediately step in and contribute to the Dallas Cowboys defensive line rotation. In the Cowboys' 4-3 defensive scheme, I think he would play a similar role like Tyrone Crawford as a base defensive end on early downs and then kick inside to the 3 technique in obvious passing situations. In fact, he could be Crawford's replacement in 2020. Allen is an intriguing player for the Cowboys, but he's kind of a tweener DT prospect. He doesn't really have the speed or athleticism to win consistently against NFL offensive tackles as a D, and he doesn't really have the strength to consistently play at DT yet. But he has the kind of versatility Dallas likes in their DL and is someone they will strongly consider drafting in the second round with their first pick in the 2019 NFL Draft. The Dallas Cowboys will begin gearing up for their pre-draft visits, including Dallas Day, their National 30 visits, and will make visits to college campuses for pro days over the next few weeks. The Dallas Cowboys have already begun meeting with players and attending pro days. Last week, Cowboys coaches and scouts were in Houston visiting the Cougars pro day. While most of the focus from NFL teams was on top of the draft talent, Ed Oliver, the Cowboys had cornerback Isaiah Johnson in their sights. Just a friendly chat between Chris Richard. You know things are getting serious when you bring your special friends home to meet your parents. Isaiah Johnson also took the time to introduce his parents to Chris Richard. Johnson's family had a friendly conversation with the Cowboys coach. https://t.co/Huck5X7 It's a relationship that appears to blossoming this spring as the football world gears up for the 2019 NFL Draft. It was the second time in the last month that the Cowboys spent significant time with the cornerback after having a formal meeting with Johnson at the NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis. There is a growing amount of buzz between the Dallas Cowboys and Johnson, and it's warranted given Chris Richards' affinity for long and tall cornerbacks. Isaiah Johnson is one of the biggest defensive backs in the draft and nearly the biggest in every measurement. He's a really good athlete too, as he ran a 40-yard dash of 4.4 seconds and had a broad jump in the 96th percentile for his position group. He's a raw player. Johnson only made 22 starts at cornerback for the Cougars after converting from wide receiver between his sophomore and junior seasons. Johnson had 2 interceptions in each of his junior and senior seasons for the Cougars. Film study For this film study, I looked at games from the 2018 season against Memphis, Rice, and Texas Tech, and then took a look at his game against Temple from 2017. Isaiah Johnson's size is the first thing that stands out. He uses a one-arm stab at the line of scrimmage to disrupt the route of the receiver before beginning his back pedal in coverage. The Cougars used Johnson primarily at right cornerback, but he got significant playing time at left corner as well. He also played a few snaps in the slot and a few snaps at safety. Houston didn't ask him to be a press-man corner very often, instead using that quick jab at the line of scrimmage to slow the wide receivers get off. Was used a lot in cover 3 for the Cougars to limit big plays down the field. Johnson moves well for his size and is willing to put his head down and tackle. Was really good at bringing the ball carrier down once he made contact. Plays better with the receiver in front of him than when playing chase coverage. Mirrors his receivers well in man and can carry them across the formation when necessary. He has good start and stop to come up and run support after his drop and to break on the route. Shows very soft and natural hands when challenging the ball. His interceptions were smooth and easy. Wasn't fighting the ball. Was pretty tight in man coverage. The only routes that he appeared to allow consistent separation were comeback routes, but several of those times, he was playing off coverage and was able to get to the receiver to limit yards after the catch. On screens and in outside running plays, Johnson maintained good discipline by not allowing the runner to get outside of his containment, trusting his team to be there. Very willing tackler in run support. Doesn't seem to shy away from contact. Form tackler that doesn't go for the runner's knees. He needs some more experience and technique work to gain more confidence. Needs to trust his length more. Several times he was flagged for grabbing the jersey of the opponent to prevent getting beat. Several catches he gave up were with his back to the quarterback and he didn't turn around to play the ball. Some refining of his technique will help him to use his length better. summary: Isaiah Johnson is an intriguing prospect that combines really good height and length with a natural ability to play football. He's a project player at this point in his career after making the transition from wide receiver just 2 years ago. With NFL coaching and some patience, he could be a starter in the NFL. He'll likely be a 4th or 5th round choice, and that's where I'd feel comfortable taking him as a developmental player. Chris Richard has had success in developing cornerbacks drafted in the later rounds with the Seattle Seahawks, and Isaiah Johnson could be the next player to benefit from his coaching. He's a project player, but someone who has the tools that could help him develop into a starting cornerback in the NFL. Kim Clement, USA Today Sports. As the 2019 NFL Draft draws closer by the day, names of potential prospects the Dallas Cowboys have shown an interest in continue to leak across the internet. Some of it, of course, is smoke and mirrors, but for others it could be telling as to which positions and players Dallas could be targeting with one of their 6 draft picks this year. There have been numerous names released as to who the Cowboys have worked out privately or met with at their pro day, but you have to take these kind of visits with a grain of salt. It could just be the Cowboys and their scouts doing their due diligence. For me, keeping an eye on the players who attend Dallas Day for local prospects who grew up or played in the Dallas area and their 30 pre-draft visitors is much more important. The Dallas Cowboys have a tendency of drafting players who were brought in for a pre-draft visit or attended Dallas Day. But for today, I want to focus on the Cowboys' 30 pre-draft visitors. Continue to read below to see the list of pre-draft visitors so far. Dallas Cowboys 30 pre-draft visitors. Offense: Dawson Knox, Tay, Ole Miss, via at @JustM_NFL, Deebo Samuel, WR, South Carolina, via NFL.com, Emmanuel Hall, WR, Missouri, via Bobby Belt, Jay Sternberger, Tay, Texas A. Bobby Belt, Jonathan Abram, S, Mississippi State, via Tom Pelissero, Kingsley Kiki, DT, Texas A. We are less than a month away from the 2019 NFL Draft, and it's a big one for the Cowboys. Without a first-round pick, they can't go wrong in day 2. So far, the front office has managed the offseason pretty well. Although there are still positions that need help, there's none with so much urgency to force the Cowboys to reach for any player in April. Instead, they'll be able to address the draft with a best player available philosophy. Matt Miller from Bleacher Report published his latest mock draft a week ago. Making a deep dive into the 3rd round, Miller mocked 2 defensive backs to the Cowboys. Despite recently adding free agent safety George Iloka to the team, Dallas still needs to find a young safety to pair up with Xavier Woods in the future. A team need that hasn't been discussed much is cornerback. The team has good players at the position, but could use more depth. Without further ado, let's get to the players who Miller is sending to Dallas. He's a versatile player who has played in various positions across the defensive backfield. He shined the most as a free safety in his college career. Some see Thornhill as a player who could even try to play as a cornerback in the NFL. He could be a starter right out of the gate as a safety, though. As a very smart player, Juan Thornhill is the kind of guy who takes the ball away thanks to his instincts. He's one of those players with a lot of talent, but who may struggle to find his true position in the NFL. However, his upside might just be worth the risk. Pick. He's a prospect with a ton of upside. He could do well against slot receivers in the NFL, but there's quite a few things to work on. The speed is there, but his lack of footwork will get him in trouble in man-to-man coverage. The Cowboys have a good set of starters at the cornerback position, but the depth is far from ideal. A serious injury could greatly hurt the defense at any point of the season. Taking someone like Sheffield in day 2 would make a lot of sense. There's a lot of different ways the Cowboys could address the 2019 NFL Draft. They've managed to add quality free agents to have more freedom when on the clock in April. Hopefully, they go in with a best player available approach and walk away with a good rookie class.